Hello and welcome to my channel. The story of Harry's visa issue is not over yet. Recently, American lawyers are making a new argument to protect him from having his law enforcement documents published because of concerns that it will lead to public appearances. Stigma. Join us to learn and discuss this issue in today's video. It's been a while since we've forgotten about Harry's visa problem because of the recent mess he and his wife have caused. If it weren't for the new update and the expected release of the court transcript, I probably would have forgotten about this issue. As you may remember, in February, the Heritage Foundation argued that details of the Duke of Sussex's March 2020 visa application, in particular how he responded to questions about his use of drugs, should be made public. However, lawyers for the Department of Homeland Security claim Harry has a right to privacy, and his visa documents should remain sealed. The judge decided he would review the record privately before deciding whether to make it public. According to the recently updated transcript, Department of Homeland Security Attorney John Bardo said there is a stigma associated with being mentioned in a law enforcement record. And while it's currently unclear which profile is being referred to, the word that jumps out is stigma. It's not a word you'd expect to see in a typical visa application. It makes us ask what is in there that could attach a stigma to Harry's application. As soon as I heard that word, I had to ask why. I asked my lawyer friend, and he was also surprised and exclaimed, "There's no stigma issue." Poor defense. If the visa application contained accurate and truthful responses, then what is the issue? If the documents are not made publicly available, then the issue for him is that his trustworthiness is in question. This information should be in the public domain, otherwise it's one rule for Harry and one rule for everyone else. The question has to be asked as to why his visa was granted if his past history would normally have precluded its approval. I think the public has a right to know if he's here on a diplomatic visa. U.S. people could be paying for security and other benefits. Plus, you can't work here on a diplomatic visa and he's earned millions here in the U.S. Harry's not been employed as a diplomat. Britain has given him no such role, and even if we had, it would have been rescinded by now, after all the secrets he's revealed and tell-all interviews. So again, the public has a right to know. Stigma. It sounds like everything is being thrown at this as an excuse not to release the documents. Well, the U.S. government lawyers seem to have all reason to withhold the documents, and they know pretty well that the main reason for publishing them has nothing to do with the privacy of the applicant. My point is that even if there were that reason, that doesn't mean it shouldn't be made public. Harry is a public figure and isn't entitled to the same privacy protections as regular people. He claims to want a private life, but quite obviously demonstrates otherwise. Memoirs, TV series about himself and Meghan, PR tours of other countries, and countless interviews are not the actions of someone seeking a private life. He quit the royal family, which means he has no right to special privileges. If he gave honest and correct answers in his visa application, then what is the problem as no need to hide? However, if he had been honest, he would have made sure all knew about it by showing everyone else is wrong. Another legal battle speaks volumes, or did the person who wrote it for him not complete it correctly as his never wrong? If they deny the public access to the record, we would just assume that they are trying to hide something significant, which means that he probably used his royal connections to enter the country illegally, which is really an insult to all those who have been denied entry because of prior revelations in their behavior. It may be something like drug possession that was covered up under diplomatic immunity years prior to him living in the U.S., which does go to the matter of his current visa situation. If there are records of that, and he failed to state it on his latest application, then he has certainly shot himself in the foot. The question for me is, what kind of visa has he been awarded? If it is in any way some sort of diplomatic visa, then he would automatically be a representative of the UK government. He should therefore not be working or involved in the Aspen Institute, which seeks to curtail press freedom and freedom of speech. Neither should he be arranging tours to foreign and Commonwealth countries. In the last 4 years, Harry has not hesitated to make much of his private life very public and, on the whole, detrimental to other people, especially members of his own family. It doesn't seem very good to expect his privacy to be respected, especially in a country in which he is not a citizen. As a visitor, he should have to adhere to the rules the same as everyone else. The Harkles think that privacy is something only they're entitled to and have no hesitation in divulging anyone else's private information, and usually to make money. This also extends to other people's children who they're happy to exploit in photographs while reserving the right to keep their own alleged children private. Back to the visa problem. If he gave honest and correct answers in his visa application, then what is the problem? If the documents are not published, then the problem for him is that he cannot be trusted. Is his book fact or fiction? What else has he embellished for the sake of book sales? We all know we need to take anything Harry says with a large pinch of salt and query it. I certainly wouldn't buy a used car from him. Smoke and mirrors. Harry should be subject to the same laws and privileges as every other person. If his book is now being bandied about as fiction, then what credibility has he left? Do they not realize that the more they fight to keep it hidden, the more people will suspect his visa is dodgy? Someone is in the wrong here. If he answered honestly, then he has nothing to fear in having his answers published. If he didn't, that is trickier. It would mean the authorities flouted their own rules. Either way, the American people have a right to know, and I hope the judge sees this. Anyway, whichever it is, he has no right to be in the USA as a confessed drug abuser. Stigma is a very interesting word to use, a mark of disgrace associated with a particular person. Makes you wonder how Harry disgraced himself. I'd love to know. We all know he used drugs. He admitted his drug use in his book and on Good Morning America. Before that, we saw the pictures of him using drugs at a frat party at a South Carolina university. So what is there to hide that would cause a stigma associated with being mentioned in a law enforcement record? Harry is a disingenuous grifter. He has told untruths and has attacked and slandered his family and country. He's pursued our press in the courts, whilst he himself has used them to harangue his family in his various interviews and publications. We have the right to know the facts and for Harry to face any consequences. It should be published. If it's all above board, why the fuss? What's the point of having laws if the chosen few can break them? Why should he be treated any differently from anyone else? In my opinion, this may be a battle between the Department of Homeland Security and the Heritage Foundation, but Harry is a key player. Everything Harry does turns into a self-created circus, but he just sits back and lets others sort out his mistakes and cover for him. He's far too immature to take care of himself. This has put the Department of Homeland Security in a difficult position, and their work process is questioned, since it is so desperate to keep these files under wraps. It's pretty obvious they did some shady stuff with Harry's application, including looking the other way when he admitted drug use, and they are terrified of their lies coming out. The trust of American citizens is gradually disappearing. They like equality, so they don't want to see abusers like Harry. Maybe that's part of him not being welcome here. Harry isn't different from any other immigrant. Surely in the land of the free, where all are equal, they don't have a system for a privileged ex-prince married to a low-grade actress? Isn't that against their constitution? If the visa applications of others can be made public, then so can his. If others' applications are private, then so should his be. He is no different under the law and cannot expect to be so. Why are government lawyers fighting Harry's case? Is there evidence in the law enforcement documents of his previous drug use, and so they are trying to protect the official who gave him special treatment? They should divulge the type of visa he is on and his answers to questions about previous drug use if he even completed a visa application. Remember, they left Canada for America suddenly, supposedly before borders closed due to coronavirus. The more you hide it, the more doubts and controversies arise. Harry's official address has been changed on business documents, and people are increasingly eager to know the truth regarding Harry's visa. The judge is still reviewing and considering this issue, but for the public to believe, there still needs to be something confirming that Harry entered the United States completely legally and without any ambiguous issues at all. But if everything remains hidden behind the curtain, I believe this problem will not end. That also brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully, the information above is useful to you and you have a relaxing time. I look forward to your discussions in the comments section. And don't forget to like and share the video. Your support is our motivation. Let's subscribe to receive notifications about the newest videos. We will be back soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.